Okay, let's look at this strange thing called innovation. Now, I call it a strange thing called innovation because actually most people don't actually understand what innovation is. Innovation is not invention, and innovation is not entrepreneurship. So perhaps if we start by separating those, you'll get a better idea of what I mean by innovation. Invention actually happens very rarely. Of all the things that happen in the world that cause change from a product or service or marketing point of view, invention actually represents only a small percentage, probably under 10%. And invention you could describe as the discovery of new knowledge. So when we discover something new that hasn't been seen or understood before, that's invention. The innovation is the application of something new. But the something new could be somewhere else that hasn't been applied in this particular circumstance. So when I bring a process from some other industry and I apply it in my industry, that's innovation. When I know that there's some things out there that have been and done before, but I bring it to a new element, I bring it to a new organisation, I bring it to a new product, or I bring it to a new market, that's innovation. And innovation always causes action. It always causes change. Now, entrepreneurship is something very different again. What entrepreneurs do is entrepreneurs bring products or services to the market to create customer value. Now, someone else could have invented it, someone else could have figured out how to apply it, but it's the entrepreneur that creates an organisation that brings it to the customer. Okay, so these three things are very different. Now, it is possible that the entrepreneur is also the inventor, but it doesn't happen that often. It's possible that the entrepreneur is the innovator. That actually happens a lot. But the greatest part of entrepreneurship, in fact, is not product or service invention or innovation. It's actually what we call business concept change. Historically, when we introduced rental cars, it was a dramatic business concept innovation. Cars were the same cars. When we invented or innovated hub and spoke airline traffic, where you flew into a hub, you changed the flight and then you flew out. The planes were the same. Bums on seats were the same. The food was just as bad in all the planes. But we did it a different way. That was a business concept innovation. So innovation itself can have many different dimensions. It can be around something dramatically new. It can be around an enhancement to a product or service. It can be around the creation of new customer value by the way we interact with the customer. Okay, here's the importance of innovation. Innovation is the way that we deliver the time and place. It's the way we create competitive advantage. It's the way that we connect to customers. It's the thing that gets us the momentum that kicks off our growth. Why innovation is critically important, though, is that innovation is part of the sustainability of competitive advantage. It's the reason why we stay in business is because we innovate. Because if I have a single product that I bring to market and that product doesn't change, then clearly sooner or later my competitors will nip away at it. New technology will come on the market that will erode it. The marketplace itself will change and it will do away with whatever is there. So the nature of innovation is this constant renewal of creating new and enhanced customer value that keeps me in business. That's why it's so important. Now, there are different types of innovation, the product, process, business concept, and there are different levels of innovation. A dramatic innovation, the game changer innovation, which is sort of the breakthrough, is said to be one of several dimensions. A reduction in cost by 30% is often a game changer. So when everyone's competing at the same level, but I work out a way of reducing costs by 30%, I fundamentally change the marketplace. That's a breakthrough innovation. If I take a single dimension of functionality and I can enhance it by a factor of 5. So for example, if my weight comes down dramatically, if my power consumption comes down dramatically, if my size comes down dramatically, if the number of pixels I have in my camera go up dramatically, if I make something portable which wasn't portable, okay, so a new dimension of functionality. Or if I do something that's not been done before in my marketplace. The dramatic innovation of the digital camera was that it could take a photo, you could look at it, you could delete it and take it again. You could not do that with conventional cameras. It could also, store, thousands of, these horrible grainy photos. But for the first time, I could do it and I could walk away with it without limitation. So the nature of innovation can change, and it's important that you look at all forms of innovation. Those that are delivered through technology, those that are delivered through process, and those that are delivered through the way we interact with the customer, the business concept. Okay, questions. I worked with a colleague of mine for a number of years, John Bailey, who had the first PhD in entrepreneurship in Australia. So going back quite a few years now. And John used to run this exercise for entrepreneurs, which I used to love, which is the first question. Why do we need to do it this way? So do we have to accept the nature of the way we do business, or can we simply question the nature we do business? Why do we have to buy and own our own car? Why can't we rent one? Why do we have to rent a car for a day? Why can't we rent one for an hour? Why can't we have bicycles located around the city that I can swipe my credit card in and I can use it for an hour and drop it off somewhere else? Why do planes always have to fly from A to B? Why can't they fly to C, hop on another plane and go to B, and therefore change the economics of the flight? We have one entrepreneur at the moment that's investigating, why do we need to sit down in the plane? Why can't we have standing room in the plane? I mean, it's got a few problems to solve, but why can't we have people at the back all strapped up on a half-hour flight? You see, we can ask these fundamental questions. If we look at all parts of our business and the way we create customer value, and we simply ask, well, why do we have to do it that way? Can we think out of the box and do something completely differently? It's a fundamental way of thinking about innovation. One of the great elements of innovation which I've always liked is the try before you buy innovation. Is there some way that we can give our customer an experience of the product before they have to commit to buying it? Which is one of the reasons why we want our cars in the rental car fleet. It's one of the reasons why we allow people to take pieces of art and take them home and hang them on their wall and try them out. So is there some way we can get through this evaluation process faster by creating this experience? And I will tell you that in the trials they've done where they've taken a whole bunch of competitive cars and they've put them into a football field and they've allowed young people to come in and try them out, the sales cycle has dramatically reduced because people then get their feel and experience. We're working with a form of driving school at the moment where we've been able to show that the conversion rate of learning to drive in a car and buying a car of that make is up around 60%. Okay? Another form of it, why do we have to do it that way? Can we give this concept of divisibility a go? What are we doing about creating different forms of customer value? Fun and image, risk, ease of use, supplementary products and services, more availability, better way of getting questions answered. You remember the buyer experience? We can do some work in innovation. Are we looking at our competitors? Are we going overseas and looking what's happening in our industry and seeing what people are doing, and are we bringing that knowledge or that experience or even those products back to Australia and therefore enhancing our customer experience. So again, a form of innovation. Are we looking forward 1, 3, 5 years to the way our customers will use our products and services, and are we ensuring that we are there meeting those needs? I remember when I was in the software development business and we were looking at current technologies and emerging technologies, and knowing that we had about a 2-year cycle to get a product to market, the aim was to build a product that met the technology availability in 2 years' time, not to build it for today. And it's a fundamental mistake actually of a lot of developers. They build around today not realising that it's some time away before the customers use it, and everything can change by the time it gets there. Let's look at some questions again. Guess who's got the best knowledge of what they want and what they're willing to pay for? The customer. Go ask them, get feedback, form customer forum groups, throw questions at them, throw issues at them, ask them whether they want to do something a completely different way, throw up some whiteboards and have people scribble on the board and test some questions out. Make sure that you tap into internal knowledge. There's a whole field of knowledge called corporate entrepreneurship, tapping into the knowledge base of our employees. Suggestion schemes, innovation schemes, internal funding for ideas and projects, training for people to recognise opportunities and to be able to articulate them. But it's simply throwing up more and more ideas so that we can tap into the good ones. Look at the complex problem. Always look at the complex problem, because it's in the complex problem that you'll often meet all the other dimensions of growth. And then, okay, so what can we do to find innovative solutions around complex problems? They're much harder, but if you get them right, you really do stimulate growth. Make innovation a fundamental part of your DNA. Often we think we've done great work and we now need to exploit it, but what we've also got to understand is the rest of the market is probably doing the same thing. So if we're not moving forward all the time and creating and enhancing a new customer value and developing our products, sooner or later someone's going to catch up and pass us. When I was in my early software businesses, we were spending 22% of revenue on R&D. Now, in the software business, it's very difficult to get the type of protection that you get through patents. And so you basically get protection through complexity. So the deeper the product, the more complex the problem, the greater the more compelling the problem you're solving, and the quicker you're moving, the greater the degree of protection. So, it's an essential component of that type of industry that you spend on continuous innovation. Okay, so here's some ideas. Go find other products to enhance. The big corporations are particularly bad at innovation and bringing new products and services to market. They typically buy innovation out of small companies. It's a great way to find an exit. But you as a company can also use the same strategy. Go find stuff, whether you license it, borrow it, beg it, I won't say steal it, but copy it if it's easy to copy, but go find stuff to enhance constantly your customer value proposition.